Jess.
Hello, everyone. Happy September.
Happy September to everybody. It's now almost the middle of September, but it's football season, fall. Mama K is also on with us.
Oh, hey, everyone. Yeah, September. Woo.
And tonight we are doing The Little Mermaid, the new 2023 version of The Little Mermaid, because there have been a few versions in the past. I think most notably the 1989 version of The Little Mermaid, the animated version, I believe is what most of us would think of. And there's also the book it is based on, Hans Christian Andersen.
That was really from 1989?
That's when the original Disney animated one is from, the one that's most people are probably familiar with. Yeah, you know, a nice, cool, what is that, 33 years ago? Something like that? 34 years ago?
Right before y'all were born.
Yeah.
You guys know the story of The Little Mermaid? Do you like this story? I know we did Peter Pan earlier this year. We've been going through the remakes of the old stuff, and it's been a mixed bag. You know, we did Aladdin back in the day. Nicole and I love Aladdin. We didn't like Peter Pan, and there's other ones. But what do you guys think of this story?
So you're talking about the Disney story or like the real Little Mermaid story?
The overall story of The Little Mermaid. Is this one like when The Little Mermaid comes out, or you hear something Little Mermaid, are you like, oh, I like that story, I like those characters, or are you like, it's not really my thing?
Oh yeah, honestly, Little Mermaid, I mean, besides the classics, is probably my favorite Disney princess. I've always liked this movie.
So this is your kind of thing then.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I like Disney, right? I have confession time. Never seen the 1989
What?
Disney
That's
Little
not possible.
Mermaid.
How did I see it?
It's 100% possible, because let me tell you why. 1989, right? Don't have kids, whatever. Just got married, not doing any kind of Disney kind of stuff. And then I have kids, and they're all boys. And while I've seen Brother Bear ad nauseum.
I love Brother Bear.
Brother Bear's
well,
good,
I know.
Brother Bear's so good.
Yeah.
No, Collins,
we
Collins
were like,
fucked that up so good. Okay, sorry.
there was no like princess situations in our house. It was all Toy Story, Star Wars, Lego dude stuff, Bionicle. So never seen it. So when I know the story of The Little Mermaid, obviously the Hans Christian Andersen situation. Wait, is he the one?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the book.
Fun fact, I actually saw his house in Denmark.
Oh, did
it have Little Mermaid stuff in it?
I mean, I didn't go inside of it, but like I was on a guided tour, and they're like, "Oh, this is where he lived."
I didn't pay for the tour, but
the inside tour. It was a passerby, more of a general.
Yeah.
Is he
was
other
there a
famous
seashell, like doorknob? No.
Seashell
no.
doorknob. I was saying, is he famous for other stories? I only know. I don't. When I think of him, I think of this story, but I don't know.
I think
Hans Christian Andersen.
I think Hansel and Gretel.
Yeah, a lot of
I thought that's
the ones
Brothers
in
Grimm's. The Grimsby. Grimm's
Brothers Grimm.
I'm pretty sure he did Hansel and Gretel.
Okay.
I'm not sure if he did, but I think that this was his wheelhouse. I'm sure there's.
Oh yeah, there's
we're gonna ripped open for this. You know that,
there's
right?
Little Mermaid statue also in Denmark too, so they love Little Mermaid.
Interesting.
It's strange that I saw a Disney animated thing, because usually it would be you showing me. Like I wouldn't see a lot of stuff outside of.
You must have went over a friend's house.
That's exactly what happened. I know.
But there's
that's
like other
happened.
80s ones that I didn't watch till I was like Rescuers. I never watched Oliver and Company, like those that era, because you didn't watch like Give It to Us, so I just didn't know how Little Mermaid slipped in there. I don't know. Anyway, Ariel, the youngest daughter of King Triton, is a spirited young mermaid longing to find out more about the world beyond the sea. Following her heart and the dashing Prince Eric, she makes a deal with the evil sea witch Ursula to experience life on land. This version has a 7.2 on IMDb, 67% on Rotten Tomatoes, and 94 with the audience. And it's on Disney Plus now. That's where we saw it. It was in theaters earlier for a long time. Actually, it was just sticking around.
Yeah.
It always had a screen or two at the big guys, but it's in Disney Plus now. And so if you have any interest, that is where you go to see it. It's a long boy. It's 2.5 hours, I believe. But We didn't even mention it's a musical, right? Like, I know the original one has lots of singing, but that's because it's Disney. But like, this is a pretty musical film. But anyway, haven't seen it. Spoilers now. So, Little Mermaid story. She likes to collect the trash from the human world, and she wants to. She's like, it's pretty cool trash. Whatever, the stuff that falls off boats.
Is another man's treasure.
Exactly.
Yeah, she is full of treasure, and she's got all the humans. She's a princess, and like all the other princess of the sea of King Triton's daughters, they're like in this version. There's like, or maybe in the original one too. Each daughter is like a sea, and she's the Caribbean Sea, I believe. So that's why, and all the other daughters are like kind of like they go to the meeting. They have like a meeting. I don't know. And Ariel's it's not. She doesn't attend the meeting. She's too busy playing with her toys from the human world. And so you get the idea. She's different. She meets Eric, who's like this. He's a prince, but he's like he wants to be on a boat and with his guys and like hanging out and like do adventure stuff. And so that's his bag. And then there's the friends. There's the crab, the fish, and the bird. Flounder, Scuttle, and what's the
Sebastian.
Yeah, that's right. I like him. He's
also good. Mr. Krabs.
Mr. Krabs, yeah. Anyway, she got all this stuff's going on. She wants to go out in the human world. King Triton's like, no, you gotta have your meetings with your sisters and me. And so she's like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go with the prince in the real world. And this is where Ursula comes in. Ursula, the sea witch. She is the antagonist of the film, Melissa McCarthy's character, and she feels outcasted from everyone, I guess. So she wants to get a bunch of power. So she makes deals and tricks people and collects their souls, the poor unfortunate souls. And the deal that is made is, Ariel, you can go on land, you can go and try to win your prince, but you have to give me your voice because that's the deal. That's what I consider fair. And so that's what happens in the film. And then she has to work through the challenges and try to win the prince and her freedom on land and her independence. And what did you guys think of this film? I'll start with Jess.
Okay, so I honestly thought it was underwhelming. And I think for a few reasons. One, Avatar came out around the same time, and that was an awesome underwater movie. So I feel like my underwater movie underwater animated movie expectations were extremely high. And when I saw this,
that's the comparison.
When I saw this, I was kind of like, it looks good, but it doesn't look great. The thing I hated the most is how they made Sebastian and Flounder look, because this is a kid's movie. You want them to look like you'd want them in a stuffed animal, right? So I think I even had a Flounder stuffed animal. Like, you'd want oh, Flounder, he's so funny, he's so cute. And he looked like an actual fish with gills and scales and stuff. And it was not something that you'd be like, oh, Flounder was so funny. Mom, I really liked him. He was so cute. Let's get a stuffed animal. You would just be like, this is just a fish. This is what I saw in the aquarium.
This is just a fish.
But this is the real-life version, though, Jess. It's not animated. Even though it's CGI.
It's animated
it's
like Jungle
kind of
Book
animated.
and Lion King.
Yeah,
it's like a little,
I still think
it's
they could have
stylized.
done a better job with... they made Ariel look great. I don't know why they couldn't have made Flounder look and the crab look more appealing.
I thought the crab looked okay if we're comparing the animation jobs. The fish, I kind of agree with you, but
in the cartoon, the 1989 cartoon, those were pretty big characters. They were her best friends, and you followed them through. Here, they were much smaller characters, and I think a lot of it is because they don't have the appearance of being a big character. So that was my first thing that I really didn't like. Second one is I don't think there was enough emphasis just on the songs and underwater. So when I first turned on the movie, I was expecting to be a 5-10 minute interlude of the orchestra and underwater and because that's what you think of Little Mermaid. It's so known for the songs and the water and the movement, and the movie just kind of started. It had maybe 30 seconds of something, and I was like, that was it? I was expecting to get the shivers and follow through the water and hear all the music, but none of that was really there. So those are my two biggest concerns.
All right, we're starting with visual and sound being
I guess so.
Little Mermaid. When you go to Little Mermaid, you want visual and sound, and that's not a good. That's not good.
Yeah.
That those were problems. But okay, what were your first impressions of Little Mermaid?
This is interesting because I think coming at it from the point of view of not seeing, I mean, I know the characters. I know Flounder, Sebastian. I know all of them. I don't really know Scuttle. Yeah.
Scuttle. He's a seagull, or she in this one. He's a male in the first one. We did the gender flop.
Yeah, it used to be a seagull, right? And now it's
seagull that
else.
like he's like, oh, I know all this cool stuff, but like, they're an idiot. Yeah, that's the. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'm thinking I have a totally different viewpoint coming at this because I'm seeing it from sort of fresh eyes, and while I see the issues that you have with Sebastian and Flounder, those didn't seem to be problems for me because I really was thinking that this is the live action version, and so they need to look as real as, as close to being the real animals as possible. But the Mr. Krabs eyes on Sebastian was, every time he was on, all I could think of was like he was going to blink and like his big fat red eyelids were going to come down and, he was going to say something nasty. Eyes. Yeah, exactly. So that drew me out, but that's just my own. That's a problem. That's a me problem. That's not a movie problem.
You're focusing a lot on the animated characters, yes.
Right. So I actually loved everything that was done under the water. I thought there was a huge shift between how it was filmed, basically a lot of CGI doing underwater stuff. I thought it was great. I was really like Ariel's hair.
The hair was good. I did really like it.
Yeah, the hair was
good. I love how good the hair has come.
Yeah, all the hair. Ursula's hair was great.
Good. Tail was good. I think they could have made her top a little more decorative, but it's just being a little picky.
Did she need the seashells? Because I was glad the seashells were gone, honestly. I was like, if I see seashells on every mermaid, I'm not going to be happy about that. Yeah. So that was actually a high for me. The sound was, as far as it being a musical, I kind of forgot it was a musical until there was a couple things on land where I'm like, oh God, this went just like horribly musical for me. So I actually enjoyed it, and I don't know why it was 2 hours and 20 minutes, but I didn't really mind it. I can't figure out what they added to make it almost an extra hour longer. Mainly because I didn't see the first one. But I think everything that was done on land was sketchy for me, and it looked like a weird Downton Abbey Bridgerton remix of awfulness. But everything under the ocean, I was digging. My favorite part is that crazy Disney blue that they can get that Avatar does not get. It's that like tattoo blue that's so nice. And I'm not the biggest Avatar fan, but I didn't mind the last one, so I tried not to make too many comparisons.
It's interesting you both thought of Avatar at all. It's just not what, like, I understand the water comparison, but like I'm so much more focused on like story and characters that like you guys have mostly talked about the songs and the sets and the wardrobe and the character design.
Well,
I'm just like, it's just crap I don't think about,
The story's been the same story. I mean, we talked about, Hans Christian Andersen. The story's been the story for 150 years. So
true, yeah.
It's not, I don't know. That's, the story. It's like watching, Little Red Riding Hood or whatever. It's all, the story.
It's interesting.
That's my first take.
I was like super mixed the whole time watching this. There's some parts where I'm like, this is like not bad. This is like I can see the appeal here. I think she's really good. What's the main girl's name?
Halle Berry.
I think it's Halle.
Yeah, she's very charismatic and like interesting, and like I think she fits an Ariel well. She matches in my head like tonally and like inflection and presenting herself. Like she matches the Ariel I remember in my head. I just saw it actually a couple months ago. For like we were just watching stuff on a Sunday, and it was one of the ones that went through. It's one of those ones
like with the OG Little Mermaid. You just watch casually.
Yeah, we just watched it casually. It was on the cycle. Lion King was after that. Yeah.
I actually wanted to watch it beforehand just to give myself a fresh reminder, but I didn't get around to it. But I still kind of want to see it again.
Yeah. So I watched like the original one, and like it's funny when you go back and watch those. They're vastly different movies, like all the time. Like Lion King is still. I go back and I'm like on the edge of my seat at the whole hour and 30 minutes. It's so good. And then I go back and watch like the original Jungle Book, and it's like kind of garbage. It's got like 10 minutes of okay stuff, but it's kind of trash. And then this one is kind of in between that. Like the original one, I go back and there's some stuff that's kind of okay. I like the Ursula bits and the eels. There's a couple of song bits that are okay, but this is not a story I have reverence for. And then I come to this one, and I hope it's like Aladdin, where like it's another one where like I go back, I don't love the original Aladdin. It's got some stuff that's okay, but the remake of Aladdin, I'm a big remake of Aladdin fan. So I'm open to the remakes and improving on my original things. So the Ariel I liked. Of the Friends, I thought I liked Sebastian the most. I liked the Daveed Diggs made a character and like he did like a little twist on the original one. Like it's slightly different but like it still fits the tone of the character. Whereas the other two, like Jacob Tremblay's Flounder is blah. I kind of hate that character.
It is very boring. I agree with that.
I hate how they didn't make Flounder a lot.
I don't like that character in storytelling in general. I don't like Piglet and Winnie the Pooh. I don't like really Chucky and Rugrats. Like I don't like
the shy character.
Yeah, like just fucking like pull yourself up, like dust yourself off. Like come on, stop. Like just stop it.
Well, thinking back now, maybe the best thing about Flounder
here, he was just a friend. He didn't have.
He was just kind of personalityless, honestly.
Yeah, but I think Flounder's personality from that we know Flounder is from the way he looked. And I think this is like hearkening back to Jess, the way that Flounder looks, but he was just so fluffy and cute and yellow and bright blue and, and this doesn't have any of that. So when you don't have that and you don't have the personality of a character, the type of character that you like, it's dead. Like
it really freaks me out when the fish though. When the fish and these kind of things, like they go out of the water and they're all like shiny and they're talking, and I'm like, get back in the water. I don't like this. Like I can't breathe. Go back under. And he's just smiling, like talking, like. Like no,
it's
like
almost
get back
like,
in the water.
are you gonna die? Is this movie gonna take a turn?
I don't.
No, Sebastian was all like, "Get back in the water, get in, go."
It freaks me out a little bit. And then like Aquafina I finally hit the inflection point where I'm like, it's enough of her shtick. It's been 3-4 years, and like it's kind of the same character over and over, and that's fine. But like I don't know, it's fine. It's not bowling me over like it was a couple years ago, but it's also not quite grating on me to the point where it's like detracting. So neutral feelings on the bird. It's a fine character.
I also hated this King Triton. It was just a guy with an accent. Like
I was going to point out
it was. Like
Javier
he had
Bardem's performance.
He had such presence, and he felt like like the king of the sea or whatever in the cartoon. And here again, he's just like a guy moving his mouth with an accent. Like that's really it. I get what they're trying to accomplish, but I feel like they made his presence also like seem so small. It just something about it just felt so fake. I
didn't feel like he was fake and not big enough. He just wasn't like a compellingly gigantic character.
Yeah, he's like someone who's running for president, and you're just like, this guy's never going to make it.
Well, I mean, president, that's not a big stretch.
He doesn't have the charisma.
I
I was thinking about it because he's like an actor-reactor. He's like in other things. Like he's not just a random guy. But I was like, I don't think, I was thinking back to his roles. I'm like, I don't think maybe he's a green screen guy. Like he might not. It takes a certain type of actor to like know how to do actiony stuff. It's a different skill set. And when I look at him talking to like Sebastian and just those little scenes, I'm just like, he doesn't know what he's talking to. Like he's just looking at a little tennis ball on a pole right now, and he's like, "Oh, I'm delivering these lines as the king," and like no one believes it. Like I don't think I tend to agree with you. His spot stood out as like I think he just showed up, for his week or whatever in his chair, and then it delivered his thing.
And also in like the tiniest pool, like toward the end. First of all, I had real big problems with how the ending looked, but him toward the end when he was coming out of the water to go to talk to Ariel, I was like, oh my God, I see him in this pool, and the pool's only like 10 feet across, and I am not buying this at all. Like 0% am I buying what's happening right now.
Sitting in the canoe.
So, in the tiny pool that's supposed to be the ocean. Yeah.
It'll be like Aquamarine, that Disney movie from like 2006.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I remember Aquamarine.
Wow.
So, okay, Ursula. Melissa McCarthy, when I heard that casting, I'm like, it was one of those, like, it was one of those, like, remember when John Krasinski was the cameo as the Fantastic Four guy? Because a bunch of people on the internet were like, John Krasinski should be the Fantastic Four guy. And then 2 years later, they're like, all right, here's John Krasinski as cameo. And then everyone's like, yeah, that's exactly what we wanted. All right, that's fine.
That was terrible.
Anyway, it was fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of like perfect internet casting is how Melissa McCarthy as Ursula feels. It feels like one of those you're scrolling through Facebook and you get like an AI generated, like, oh, there's this new fan casting. Like, that's what this feels like. And then it's delivered, and for me, it's like, right, fine. Again, kind of a lot of the movie is feeling. It's very, it's hitting the beats, it's hitting the notes, but it's nothing special. I'm not remembering it. It's just kind of playing it safe by the numbers.
I think Melissa McCarthy was pretty good. I think maybe a little better than you're saying.
I think she was too. I think the problem I had with the Ursula character in this movie wasn't the character at all. Is that she was so murky in the water. I couldn't really. I mean, she's again another character that's supposed to be big and imposing, and I don't know whether she's taking up the whole ocean or whether I'm only seeing like her head. You know what I mean? And especially toward the end when they're having the big fight scene, I didn't know what the hell was going on during all of that.
I glaze over on all those fight scenes. Like in the last half hour. That was just
awful.
Like once the wedding scene starts, and I do it in all movies now, I'm just like, oh, here it comes. Here comes the CGI fight scene. And I'm just like, I can't even look at them anymore. Because I just know what's going to happen at the end of all of them. Especially this one. Like this one, I literally know. I've seen it. Like, and it's pretty beat for beat. Like some of the big wave smacks and the big swings, like, I don't like. I glaze over, so I'm kind of like, all right, we're wrapping it up at the wedding scene, and then I'll check back in mentally when they're on the boat at the end. But I am always the musical stuff in this one. They added a bunch of songs in here, and then they did the original songs, and some of them they pretty much didn't change at all. Like they were pretty like similar to the original, and then some. I don't know. What'd you guys think of the music choices here?
So I don't think. Eric didn't sing in the original, right?
I think that was an added song, and not a standout.
Yeah, so I don't think Eric
that's a bummer.
sang in the original song in the original movie. So yeah, that was an added song. I think it was really just Ariel singing before.
Yeah, and there were like other song, like in when she gets taken into town in like a little cart. I kind of like that song actually, and it's a very strange cacophonous song. And she's like getting taken into town when she first like makes the deal, and she's like, "Oh, I am a human, and it's going fine, and this town is very strange, and oh, they're putting me in a tub, and the water's all dirty, but this seems fine, and I might have made a terrible mistake. Oh shit, I don't really like this anymore." Like I don't know, it was something like it literally sounded something like that. So I like that song. I like the changes.
I didn't mind the songs. I think it's because they were pretty short and not overly dramatic. So I think they were just okay to include it. It wasn't like it took over. It didn't feel extremely musically, which I probably would not have liked.
Yeah, when I was saying that it's a musical that doesn't feel like a musical, it's like Beauty and the Beast to me. It's so much a part of the actual
it's integrated
piece. Except they're on land. My least favorite part. They're on land and everybody's singing along, the whole cast, everybody in the town or whatever is all singing, and I'm all fine with that. I'm thinking this is fine. This could happen in real life. And then they all collapse at the fountain at the end of the song, and I'm like, I hate this so much. I hate that moment right there.
Flash mobbing.
I don't mind flash mobbing. I hate the end where everybody, like 12 or 27 people collapse on a fountain and all go, whew. And it's like, you just took me out of everything and I don't want to see that at all ever in my life.
They do that all the time. And then they get up and go back to their business.
When I see a flash mob, everybody does their flash mob stuff and goes back to their business. They don't all come to the middle of the food court and collapse on a table together. I don't like that. That's too musically for me. And I was like, I don't like that. I don't want
pose
that.
at the end, and then they can go back.
Yeah. So that just made the when you're talking about the cart where she's coming into town, I did like that part of the land thing. And then when she's on the carriage with Eric, I like that as well. A lot of the stuff I guess revolves around the castle pieces that I just didn't. It felt so hokey and not well done and just cheap. Really,
that's
cheap.
The stuff I don't remember. Like this is a 2.5 hour movie, and I remember
it's cheap.
Like 40 minutes of it because I just glaze over. Like on the parts I don't care about, I just glaze over. Like my mind wanders, and like I think about, all right, I'll be talking about these things on the show, and what else I got going on. Like I just don't hold my attention. But like I'm also not like. There's some movies that hold my attention and I'm miserable with my eyes on the screen, and this isn't one of those where it's like when this starts to be boring, my mind completely like shuts off in a not and again this is not a good thing generally when I say.
Well, that's
movies.
what I'm wondering. Yeah.
But because it's not I'm grading this on against other remakes. I'm grading this against Aladdin's and Jungle Books and Lion Kings and all those. So against its peers there, it's kind of in the middle of the pack for me as far as like all these up and down bits. And the song I was saying earlier, it was the Gravity song, the Gravity's holding me down. That's the one I was trying to sing. Where it's like, oh, look at the fire. Ouch, it's hot. It hurts my hand. I don't like the fire anymore.
I just got burned for the first time. Yeah, I do like that. I just got burned for the first time is like pretty cool. That's pretty funny.
And that's why I kind of like that one. It was like it felt like they were using the premise. Like she's a fish out of water. Like use the premise.
Literally.
And, like, have her touch fire and be like, oh, the fire hot. Oh, it looks cool. And then, it hurts me. Like that. Do more of that. That's kind of what I'm looking for. But I have a question about a song that's like the big song that everyone loves. And I don't really understand why no one else is hung up on this bit. You guys have hung ups on different small things, but this is my small hang up. It's in Part of Your World. And she can't think of like very simple things all the time in the song. She's like, what do you call them? Feet. I'm like, you couldn't think of feet? But immediately after, in the next verse of the song, she's saying walking and running and dancing with no problem of figuring out what those words are. And you're expecting me to believe that she forgot the word feet, but she can remember all those verbs, those actions involving feet? And she does it all the time. She says all this crap. I don't understand. And then she says like eloquent sentences, and then like, what do you call it? Hair. I'm like, no, I don't believe you. It's stupid.
I never once thought of that, but that's just because I just always knew the song so well.
Isn't it stupid? Why does she do that? Why does she oh, what do you call this? Like, why doesn't she know like what a fork is? But she knows like all kinds of other like things that like what are it's just rules.
Well, she knows what a fork is.
Well, to be fair, it's because she only knows this from the bird, and the bird's pretty stupid. So
but she knows walking and running and dancing. Why can't she think of the word feet? It doesn't make any sense.
Anything. It's anything that ends in "e" because she also didn't know street. So I think she has problems with the eat family.
It's an accent problem because she's again with the way she speaks like mid-Atlantic angel voice from like the 50s. So like I have it hard to believe that it's a pronunciation issue as opposed to just not a nonsense song. It's just a nonsense song.
Don't ruin Part of Your World for don't ruin that.
I know this was
don't
like
ruin
my
it, Brennan.
Song.
It's not that good of a song anyway. It's okay to have like there's plenty of other great classics that have all their songs hold up and they make sense and they're fun. This one doesn't make a lick of sense. So anyway, no one else has thought of this, I guess. But it's always bothered me.
Of course,
like, this song makes no internal logical sense, and I can't come along with you on this ride.
This song is too nostalgic for me to even come back.
Not Part of Your World
about those points,
right? I understand what you're saying, though, Brennan, because as I was watching it this time, the only time I've seen it, but I have captions on, and it seems even worse when you have captions on because it just flows so like la 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 la. What do you call it? Feet, and like
what do you feet, and then literally the next lines. See how they walk, see how they run, see how they play all day in the sun. I'm like, oh, wow. You had no problem coming up with all that beautiful language, but what do you call it? Feet.
Something she's wanted for her whole life. She's only wanted them forever.
She's wanted her whole life. I just can't think of the word.
But don't do it. Don't mess it up. It's still good.
I'm gonna blame the bird for that bit of stupidity.
I'll agree. I agree with that. We can blame Scuttlebutt.
It happens later on, like, too. She'll, like, eat soap, but she'll, like, I don't know, whatever. She, like, the thing she doesn't understand, but then she also understands certain things super, like, super well. I don't know. It's just whatever. Yeah, I glazed over for the end of this movie, but, I mean, Ursula's like, you're too late, I'm gonna win, and then they beat her anyway. How do they beat her? Do they harpoon her? What do they do?
I kind of missed, honestly, how they beat her. I think it was something
I told you, I glazed over.
I'm like, she dead.
Well, I was going to ask if she died in the same way in... How does Ursula die in the animated version?
I'm pretty sure they harpoon her. That's why I said, did they harpoon her in this one? Like, I literally
So, no,
can't
remember. What happens in this one is somehow it takes Ariel like 5 minutes of movie time to do this, but she climbs out of the water onto one of those old skeleton boats and turns the ship's wheel, and as she does, one of the big pokey masts just
you know what?
Goes right into her.
That might be how they kill her in the original, now that you say that. That actually might be it. I'm trying to
That
remember.
was going to be a big question of mine, because I'm like, that does not seem to be enough to kill this really super magical, powerful sea witch. It just doesn't.
That is a good... now that because you just said that, I'm looking up while we're talking about it here, but, like, that is reminding me of the original, because I remember having the same problem, like, how do you end this movie? And, like, they really don't know how to end it. Like, you're too late, and then, like, I don't know, just kill her. And then kill her.
I feel like she would have... I feel like somehow she should have been able to take, like, Triton's, or King... What is his... I don't know what the king's name is. Triton?
Yeah, you're right.
Triton, yeah.
Oh, okay. Triton's spear and kill her with the spear. That's what I feel like should have...
In the original...
I thought in the original movie she was killed with the spear, was she not?
In the original movie, I'm reading it right here, Eric commandeers a wrecked ship and kills Ursula by impaling her in the abdomen with its splintered bow spirit.
That's exactly what happens.
Yeah, so there you go. That's what happens. But isn't that dumb? Like, is it like...
Yes.
Why can you kill this giant mythical beast by ramming a boat into it? Like, it is better if it's something to do with the Triton sacrificing, like, the true love or something of the power of the love of the humans and the mermaids will combine into the thing and defeat the... I don't know, something. Like, I mean, if that's not how the original is, fine, but you can fix the original. There's nothing wrong with that.
That seems to be something that they could have changed and it wouldn't have been a big issue, except for...
No, movies do that all the time. You can change original endings and adapt it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't seem like it would be a big deal.
No, they're just like, just do the same thing. Because, like, we literally had to look up what happened. Neither of us could remember it, because it's a forgettable ending. It's like, he rams a boat into her, and then that's it. And then Triton's like, it's fine. You can be, I'll use my magic to make you human forever, and you can keep your voice, actually, and you can go live off, and it's fine. And like, oh, okay, just everything I want.
Yeah, so why didn't he just do that to start with? We could have not done all
why did we have to go involve the sea witch and, like, destroy a bunch of things? But I mean, this was fine too, right?
That would not have been a movie.
Still love Little Mermaid, Jess? One of your favorites?
I'll say one thing I did like. One thing I did like was the diversity of all the sisters. It was cool to see mermaids of different backgrounds.
I like that they made sense for where they came from. Like, they represented
exactly.
Like, they look like where their sea is, and, like, they look like the people who would live around the sea. It makes, that's literally, like, the right thing. Like, that makes more sense than whatever. I don't know what they did in the original one. They probably were just, like, plain.
They all had different hair color.
They probably just copy-pasted the same female, like, generic female background face onto the same, like, 7... Like, that's what they did back then, I'm sure. But, yeah, this is... I like that choice. I think it makes logical sense for the rest of the characters. Any other points on Little Mermaid before we wrap it up here?
Who was this movie made for?
What are these always
Was it made for
you know?
nostalgic 90s kids? Was it made for nowadays kids? Because it's too long for nowadays kids. Because an hour and a half movie is too long for nowadays kids.
I feel like all the Snow White remakes were also very long.
But not this long. This is like, I think
those.
Beauty and... Yeah, I don't know.
Are any of those good? Have you guys seen any of the Snow White and the Huntsman movies? Are they worth watching?
I never liked them, but...
They're very different. I mean, they're just sort of,
would I get any value out of it? Like, would I get like a...
They're not musical.
Or no?
They're not musical, so they're, it's a very different kind of thing, but, they're a little bit dark.
They don't follow the plot of the original as closely.
Is it like
as
real dark though, or is it like CW dark? I get a very CW vibe. I get a very CW vibe when I see the trailers for those things, and I want to give them a chance.
It's Maleficent dark. How's that?
Yeah, that's kind of okay. Okay, well then I know what they are, and maybe that's just not for me, and I don't need to pick on that. Then,
yeah, I don't think you're missing out on anything.
That's no worries there. Got plenty to watch. So. Who was this made for? Families. You got a family, and you got two or three kids, and at least one of them is a girl between the ages of 8 and 12, and you need something to do this weekend because they're driving you insane.
And they're going to
shell out $100, and you put them in the theater, and they watch it.
And it's air conditioned.
It's air conditioned, and it's 3 hours of theater time, and then if you put it on at home. You just put it on at home. It takes up so much time. Like, just put it on repeat, and then the kids look at it, and there's songs, and some of the fish are creepy. This is the worst
explanation of who is this made for ever, honestly.
It's made to be put on. It's made, how we watched it, like how I'm describing, like, I kind of remember 40 minutes, and then the rest of the time my brain was somewhere else. That's what it's made for. And, like, that's, as that, it mostly executes, and it's not, like, offensively, like, bad. Like, I wasn't, like, cringing or like, oh, no one gives a shit about making, like, maybe Javier Bardem didn't know what was going on, but like I felt generally that most people like wanted to make this, and we tried to make the songs, and we acted, and we gave it a try.
I think there was a big effort put in this.
When I feel that, then I'm more like, yeah, put it on. That's fine. Like that's an okay thing to just have around, and it's just not. There's nothing bad enough about it for me to like rag on it. It's just kind of inoffensively. Okay.
Okay.
Do we recommend, Jess, do you recommend The Little Mermaid, this version?
I wish I could, but I think it was very underwhelming, so I probably wouldn't. If you want to watch A Little Mermaid, I'd say just watch the original instead.
That's true. If you only get to pick one, I suppose. The first one's an hour less, too, so.
It's true.
More. Although you could argue more babysitting screen time with this one, if that's your, again, if you're just putting it on so the kid will stop talking to you. Okay.
I actually do recommend this because I'm surprised that I could spend 2 hours and 20 minutes with it and still be fine with it. And the Disney Blue puts it over for me. Sorry, that's just how I feel. I love watching that so much.
I want you to watch the original.
Okay.
Yeah, I would be curious on your take, because you don't love all of them, but you do like most of them, of the original, of like that era of Disney stuff.
I do, yeah. And I haven't been in love with most of the remakes. Like, some of them are fine, and some of them are not at all. So this kind of, like you said, lands somewhere in the middle. But I'm good enough with it that I'm going to give it a recommend.
I'm going to soft recommend this, kind of how I was describing earlier. Like, it's very middle of the road of the remakes. Like, it's not I wouldn't say it's like significantly worse than the original, because I don't love the original. I think it's kind of on par quality wise. There's a few songs I like. There's a few songs that drive me insane. And then there's like parts that are like, oh, that's kind of quippy and fun. I kind of like the crab, and I kind of like, and then there's other parts where like, it's just fucking glaze over. But very soft. I'm on a soft recommend, just because I don't. It was not unpleasant. When I'm kind of on the fence, it's not an unpleasant experience. I think this is going for pleasant, so I think it executes, and I will give it a soft recommend. And as we wrap up here, of all the like live action remakes you can think of, well, we've said Lion King, Jungle Book, Dumbo, Cinderella, Mulan, everything. princess other stories. Do you guys have a favorite of the remakes so far? Have any of them worked? Do you do you like any of them more than the originals? Anything come to mind?
You know what I want to see is a remake of Tarzan. Why hasn't that one come up next?
I'm sure they're working on it, but so you want them to remake your favorites, not like because Tarzan's one of your favorites.
I don't know. I just don't. I don't know why it's left out. I mean, I loved Tarzan. Obviously, we all know. Little Mermaid also. That was probably my favorite Disney movie. So I think I was too close to this to the original to give this one a recommend.
The ones I've liked the most, I kind of want ones I don't like to be remade, because I like the Jungle Book remake a lot, and I don't love the original, and I like the Aladdin remake a lot, and I don't love the original, but then like the Lion King remake,
Beauty and the Beast, I think that remake was okay.
But the Lion King movie is so superior. Like the animated is such a great movie.
Yeah,
that's
the problem.
They couldn't touch it.
That's the problem. It's like when you have, for me, when you do your favorites, it's not going to be as much as you like the original one. Whereas I think
that's what I feel about this one. Yeah.
But my one example, what's the best example of sometimes it's just a garbage property is Peter Pan, because I don't like the original Peter Pan, and then when we watched this new one, I was like, wow, it's like even worse. Like I just hate this story, and now I hate this. I hate this execution now, and the actor. Oh, it's terrible. This fucking story, man, it sucks. But I love the Jungle Book and the Aladdin remakes. Did you have any that worked for you, Mama Kay? Any of them?
Pinocchio.
I liked the Guillermo del Toro.
You mean
Pinocchio.
Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio? No,
I didn't watch the other one. The one with Tom Hanks as Geppetto.
Yeah, I don't think any of us did.
I mean, Beauty and the Beast was okay, just like this was okay, but again, they don't touch the original.
Right,
so
but that's another one where the original Beauty and the Beast is amazing, so why would you want to
watch exactly.
70% Rotten Tomatoes movie? Yeah.
Right. I wouldn't, and I would go back and watch, even though it's, it seems Beauty and the Beast animated is a little dated. I don't care. I would watch that 100%.
Only a little.
I love how the favorite thing...
It still holds up, but the story does.
The best thing about Beauty and the Beast is how everybody still thinks that, like, little girls would still be like, oh my god, when the Beast becomes a man, he's hideous, but as the Beast, he's the best. Like, everyone loves the Beast.
That was one of the ones that was on our repeat when we were watching Little Mermaid, Lion King, and the Beauty and the Beast was actually the first one, and that was
okay.
I was watching with Nicole and her mom, and when he did at the end, when he turns around, does the reveal, they both go, "Ah, it's hideous!"
Exactly.
Turn back into the Beast. No,
you still want the Beast. You don't want him. Whatever his name is.
He's supposed to be like
I don't
19
even know.
Or something weird. It's weird. I don't.
It's super creepy.
Don't look at it too hard. 2 soft recommends, I guess, and one, it sounds like not recommend, for the Little Mermaid 2023 version. And we have more things coming up, trying to get a couple streaming things in, and then when the big theater stuff hits, we'll do that. In the meantime, things to recommend to us: Films with the Women in My Life on Facebook. Reach out to me on Instagram. I'm Brennan_podhost. And you can email the show, filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Thank you guys for being on Little Mermaid 2023.
Thank you.
Love it.
Until next time, this is Brennan signing off, saying thanks for listening and enjoy your movies.
Thanks for listening to Films with the Women in My Life. If you enjoyed being a listener in our life, please rate and subscribe on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. Keep up with the latest from the show on Instagram at Brennan_podhost, on Facebook at Films with the Women in My Life, and on Twitter at FilmsWomenPod. Finally, you can email the show with questions and suggestions at filmswiththewomen@gmail.com. Original music for the show was created by Ian Burke and Chris Iwanek. Original artwork created by Nicole D'Alessio. This show is produced by Brennan Snyder. Thank you again for listening, and enjoy your movies.